Guys, so Supergirl is being called one of the best DC films yet, right? Some of these reviews are really positive, saying Lobo was born to play the role, Corn Sweat played a good part in here, and Millie Alcock carved her own identity in this movie. Now guys, I'm here to tell you all those people lied. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, guys. This movie, it has problems, right? It's not a bad movie, but it's a bad movie. Right, it's mid. That's the problem with this movie. It's mid, and let me tell you why. Starting off with the director and the writer, right? You have Craig Gillespie directing this movie, and he hasn't really done a lot of notable work. You know, he has I, Tonya, he has Dumb Money or whatever, like movies like that, and you're gonna give him the keys to Supergirl? Not to mention the writer, Anna Noguera. She's literally done nothing in terms of writing, and yes, she's part actress, but bro, no writing resume, and you're gonna throw her on Supergirl as the second movie in the DC universe? You're telling me there's no one better? That's like me going to NASA and saying, yeah, I watch Interstellar, put me in charge, bro. Like, that's kind of crazy. I don't care if you have a good relationship with James Gunn or whatever, like, there's no way you can allow them to do this with no experience. And look, we already know who the cast is, right? You have Millie Alcock, you have James Cornsweet, Superman, you have Jason Momoa in here as Lobo, and then Eve Ridley as the plot device in the movie. And after doing some research, apparently this thing was around 170 million to make, and that's just the baseline, right? With all the other expenses, this movie's projecting at least 300 to 600 million just to break even. And look, the story is pretty simple, right? Ruth's family gets killed in cold blood. She turns into a knockoff space Punisher. She wants revenge. Supergirl doesn't want to help, but then after Krem conveniently finds them and poisons her dog, they decide to tag team and go find him. But before I go into like roasting this movie or saying what I didn't like, let me give you some pros. Let me see what I wrote down. There's literally no pros about this movie. The only good thing you could say is, oh, it wasn't a bomb, right? It didn't flop, or maybe it hasn't yet. Like, there wasn't really a lot in this movie that was good or great. A lot of it's just mid or average. It's stuff we've seen before. There might be some things in here that people enjoyed, but for me, I just felt like it was mid or generic. Like, they could have done better, and there's nothing that stood out to me to be a pro. But now let's start getting into some of the cons, and golly, let's start with the story. The movie is messy, right? The movie starts off with her at her birthday, drinking, partying, basically being clumsy and whatnot. Kind of like the movie, right? It's clumsy, it's messy. And then you're starting the movie out with her being drunk and stuff. Yeah, I want to root for her. And like I said, Ruth's family gets killed in cold blood, and she doesn't even mourn. Just a little tear. And then that's it. Let's go. Let's go. I need help. Like, they couldn't give her moments to breathe or moments to see the grief that she's dealing with. Like, you can't even tell her family died. It's just like a girl, I just want to kill him. Like, that's basically how it feels. And then the movie, they kept doing this thing where Supergirl's like, you stay here, I'm gonna go. But then she's ready to go, Ruth happened to just last minute jump on the ship. And it's like, brother, how many times are we gonna keep doing this, old man? Like, it just kept doing it and doing it in the movie. You're like, golly, bro, I wonder, is she gonna be on the next ship when they leave? Like, brother, what are we doing? And like Jason Momoa's Lobo, when I heard that casting, I was like, oh man, I think a lot of us were like, that's a good casting, right? That's probably who was born to play, but not for this movie, right? He didn't even need to be in the movie. He did nothing. He just sat around. He was literally in jail, and it took Ruth to get him out to then be able to fight people. But they didn't even need his help because Supergirl's OP. There's a little brief moment here where she's like under a green sun and she has no strength. But then we need to end the movie, so they put a freaking yellow sun in to give her strength, then she just wipes everyone. Like, she's too strong. And then one of the major problems is Krem. No depth, no complexity, no motivation, just evil. So not only was he goofy looking, right? He looked like a goof. But also to start the movie, when they introduce him, bro sits down in front of this family. He's like, hey, is that pie? Like, oh, you think that's gonna be intimidating? Like, that's the first impression you want to give people? That's how I knew the movie was gonna be a joke. Especially him. That's why I knew he would be a joke. Look, there are a lot of other things in this movie I complain about, right? The CGI looked wonky during some of the fight scenes, some of the jokes, some of the humor, some of the tropes in here, music playing during a fight scene, like the James Gunn mannerisms or whatever that's in these movies. I know he didn't direct it, but golly, he had his hand all over it. And if you want to say he didn't, dude, the director, he hasn't done anything big, and now he's gonna do this. Not to mention the writer. Orale. At the end of the day, this movie's just average. Story's predictable, not enough emotional moments. The villain's generic, the action's underwhelming, and the movie doesn't take any big swings. And if I had to give this a rank, I'm gonna give this a participation award. I think you should wait to rent or stream this. But guys, those are my thoughts, right? If you like the movie, comment down below why. You know, I'd be very curious to know. But with that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.